More on the breaking news now this morning. A man in custody after shots were fired at the gala that President Trump attended. This all happened just before the official program of the White House Correspondents' Dinner was to begin in Washington, D.C. last night. Suddenly, there was gunfire outside the ballroom. Secret Service rushed the stage to safely whisk away the president and the vice president, the first lady as well. The counter-assault team had weapons drawn, and journalists and other attendees, they just ducked under tables and chairs for cover. A Secret Service agent wearing protective gear was shot, but was released from the hospital. Police say it was set off by Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old. And public records say Cole has worked as a teacher in California. He's accused of racing past a security checkpoint. This is video that President Trump posted online. This is a different floor from the ballroom. He was allegedly armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and several knives.
Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene, to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak.
Let's bring in now retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Jason Pack. Jason, hello to you. We've not heard anything yet about whether Allen is cooperating with investigators, but the FBI has searched a home linked to this suspect. We've got video of it from Torrance, California. Detail for us just the work that's happening to get the answer to the two big questions: why and the target that's happening right now.
Victor, good morning. Those are the two most important questions this morning. There's a lot of work going on in two locations and maybe more that we don't know about. Clearly, the FBI's evidence response team there at the hotel in Washington, and now we see the scene fan out into California there in Torrance, where FBI agents are likely executing a search warrant to get to that why. They're looking for pieces of evidence in there, computers, phones, writings. Was there a manifesto like sometimes that we see? Or importantly, if there's not, that also says something. So there's a lot of work going into that effort to figure out what happened and why it happened. So that why piece we're seeing in Torrance there. And as the agents and the investigators in Washington piece together some of that trajectory, we don't know where all the shots have gone. So the FBI lab and the evidence response team will do some trajectory analysis and see where those rounds went and who may have fired them. And we are still unclear about that. But as they piece that together, it's important, Victor, because they'll take those pieces of information and match that up with some of those charges that the United States Attorney announced last night.
Yeah. You mentioned the potential for a manifesto. And listen, we've covered so many of these that often we find a manifesto online. Now, let's go through what we know about this suspect. This is someone who came to this event, according to law enforcement, was a guest at the hotel, had this long gun, had a pistol, a handgun, several knives, and picked not only an event that the president was attending, but also literally the most well-known names and most influential people in media. Is this the type of suspect who would want the world to know why he's doing this, considering the event he picked?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question, and just shows you the level of preparedness and premeditation. You just don't wake up and decide to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. As you know, you have to plan that a lot. So it required a lot of pre-planning, a lot of thinking, probably a lot of research. And the fact that he was able to travel from California, we think, all the way to Washington, the hotel rooms there are not cheap either. So doing the retrace of the financials to how he got there, who he may have spoken with, and all the people he may have interacted with. They're pulling the hotel video to be able to see where he'd come and gone there while he was at the hotel, and how did he get the weapons in. So a lot of questions to answer there. But as far as the reason, clearly you have some of the most experienced journalists in the world in the same room with the world leaders. And that certainly says something about his motivation, I would think.
Can you explain something? Control room, let's put up the picture of Allen on the floor face down. Yes, this picture. I've covered many of these after which the shooter has been apprehended. And it appears he's obviously shirtless. I don't know what else he has on, but he's covered by a Mylar blanket. Is it protocol to take the suspect's clothes off? I've never seen this. Explain why we're seeing this, him in this condition.
Well, they probably were looking for explosives or something. So when you detain a person, you do what's called a high-risk search to make sure there are no weapons in the waistband, those types of things. And then you do a full search on that. So this appears to be some sort of full search. It does look like that blanket on top of him there. So they wanted to make sure there were no other threats. Did he have any explosives tied to him? Those types of things. When somebody is charging at you with a shotgun, you don't take any chances with that. So you want to make 100% sure that there's no other threats.
Speaking of other threats, this investigation is only a few hours old, and early on, even last night, we heard law enforcement say that they believe that he acted alone. How were they so early in the investigation able to reach that? I mean, maybe he was there at the Washington Hilton alone, but to say that he acted alone, how'd they get there potentially?
Well, that's a very good point, because we all know in these early stages of these crises, as investigators learn things, the facts kind of change a little bit, right? Because they haven't done their homework and they've interviewed people and they are able to prove what they're saying. So there has to be some sort of at least initial level of optimism that was true. Again, like you said, Victor, there probably wasn't anybody with them. They were making sure of that. And then in their checks in the background initially, nothing probably came up. But I think as we go in the days ahead here, they're going to make sure that is the case, and they're going to talk to all of his associates. We know that he might have been a teacher. They'll go to any of those types of places, interview his coworkers, see who his associates are, and go and build that timeline from the time the shooting happened and worked all the way back several weeks beforehand to see how we got to the point last night.
Yeah, this is the very early portion of what will be an extensive investigation. Jason Pack, I appreciate you helping us understand what's happening now and what's coming next. President Trump called this a moment of unity for everyone in the room. We'll hear more from the president after the shooting next.